Hello, fellow citizens of Oklahoma and America. This is Craig Higley coming to you again once more to bring to you a podcast. Anyways, we're going to switch gears. We're going to start looking at the state of Oklahoma, all those things that I know in my industry that need to be addressed. So I've prepared a little bit here, and hopefully it doesn't sound like it's too much like I'm just reading along, but anyways. It's time to fix the broken state of Oklahoma's building industry regulations and systems. Or you could say, it's time to do the impossible and bring about change within the government of Oklahoma. Or in other words, no matter how legitimate or necessary it may be to address these building industry issues within the state, I think it is safe to say there is going to be a lot of individuals within the government and building construction industry that will resist and fight against changing the status quo. I came to Oklahoma just over 11 years ago to be the chief building official for the city of Stillwater. I started my own business just over 8 years ago as a private third-party building code consultant, which means I provide building code inspections, plan reviews, and other building code services for towns and cities throughout all of Oklahoma. I am glad to say that I bring to each of those towns and cities completely licensed, lawful, qualified, and experienced building code services to each and every one of them. Since I started my own consulting business, I almost immediately started running across the issues within the operations of the state departments of Oklahoma that dealt with the construction industries and the enforcement of building codes. For example, in my first year as a building code consultant, I identified over 20 individuals that were doing or most likely doing building code inspections for cities that they were not state licensed to do. If you have been following me on my past podcasts, then you are aware that I recently uncovered another building inspector that was given a state building inspector licensure over 4 years ago that they never had a single qualification to lawfully acquire that licensure. Those are just some of the examples within the building code industry that we are dealing with within the state of Oklahoma. However, there are more areas that are not only broken, but inadequate and well below substandard for where we should be with our adopted building codes and building construction industry. Ultimately, these are areas that directly protect our life and safety, and also, just as important, protect us as consumers with our homes and businesses. Though I would say that addressing these issues with the state requirements and systems is not going to be a cure-all or fix-all, I would absolutely say that it is definitely critical and necessary to ensuring a path that will address our protections as citizens of the state of Oklahoma. So what is the path forward? Well, I am going to address the different state Oklahoma departments, state statutes and administrative rules, and the governor's and legislative responsibilities in these areas. I am going to address the issues, problems, and in some cases, the absolute absurdity, I can't even say that word, of what is going on and the substandard laws and rules in place that do not address the needs of building industry in Oklahoma. But most importantly, I will address what needs to be done to correct these issues. We have allowed more than enough time for the current system to identify, address, and correct these issues on its own. It is, however, blatantly obvious that the current state system is either inadequate, unmotivated, disinterested, or possibly just too incompetent in making any necessary changes. For these reasons, as a building industry professional, as a concerned citizen, and as someone who cares about the future of Oklahoma, I will be introducing what I believe are the necessary changes to our building industry regulations and processes in the state of Oklahoma. I will also be inviting state departments, elected officials, and other building industry professionals and those who have legitimate reasons to be part of the conversations and discussions. I not only believe in true transparency in our government, but I also believe in true open and public discussion when it comes to regulations and government processes. To start things off in my next podcast, I am going to discuss the Oklahoma Construction Industry Board, which is the state department that oversees and enforces the state building inspector licensures in the state. The Construction Industry Board has completely disregarded the enforcement and oversight of the building inspectors in the state of Oklahoma. I have already invited the Construction Industry Board to represent themselves in this podcast. To date, they have not responded, but I will make an offer if there is someone out there who would like to speak up for the Construction Industry Board and be able to offer some sort of discussion for what they are doing or not doing. I would kindly ask you, please reach out to me. As I have stated before, I am trying to be an agent for good, responsible, and necessary changes within the government of Oklahoma. I hope to gain enough of a following as well as active participants in these endeavors to demonstrate to our elected officials that these changes are important to the citizens of Oklahoma. At this point, I'd like to thank you for watching, and please feel free to leave your thoughts, concerns, and your own suggestions in the comments. And I look forward to visiting with you on our next podcast. Thanks a lot, and good night.